back. Leader's garment. Quite happy.
It's alright, isn't it? Looks pretty good in that bad boy.
Excellent, I think the word you're looking for is... Look at that thing. Looks beautiful, done. Beautiful.
Now, only if you're ready for this.
Welcome back to the OTB podcast, New Zealand's original and still the best mountain bike podcast. Coming to you on a Friday night because it seems to be about the only night of the week that we have nothing else on because we are guys in our 30s and 40s who don't really have a life other than that, I guess. But boys,
no, we've got too many other social engagements, KB.
That's it. I guess it's not the fact that we don't have people, inviting us out on a Saturday night to go and do fun things. But
No, that's why we do it on Friday.
That is a fair point. Who does want to go out these days?
I was going to say, that was a real strong intro, like welcome back to the OTB podcast, came in hot, and then just went straight into, fuck it, what do we do?
Hey, I just want to be open and honest with the listeners, you gotta be real. You gotta be real on these things.
I think you're right. I think media these days is a little bit too disingenuous. So, I think good on you, Kieran. Breaking the mold.
Yeah, How about speaking of real? How about Red Dog's merch? Bit of merch you got on there, Red Dog.
Hey, Chris, You know what I did, mate?
Copped. Copped, eh?
Copped himself some merch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, copped some merch. I got some merch for you too, mate.
If we've got some,
because I still owe KB some money for my merch.
If we've got some listeners that want some merch, we do have some t-shirts available. If you've been living under a rock and haven't seen it on our socials, we do have I guess we could call it our very first actual piece of merch available, which we're doing pre-orders for right now. So support the show. Go and buy yourself a t-shirt. Buy a couple of them, maybe.
Pretty tidy.
Yeah, it's
good, man.
Pretty happy with it. Shout out to Vacation Station for the designs. They did a stellar job.
Vacation Station.
Station.
Yeah, I'm calling it Vacation Station from now on.
Yeah.
Probably should have called it Vacation Studio, but I do like the idea of Vacation Station.
I think that's a great yarn.
Good name. Change the name.
Vacation, so forever now known as Vacation Station.
Yeah, so if you're a mountain biker in your sort of your 30s to 40s and you're looking to cop some fresh duds, then come see us.
Fresh duds. Oh. Yeah, jump on our Instagram. Link in bio. You'll also be able to find a post on there that shows the design. Quite trendy with a lahar on the back, I thought.
Very trendy. Hope it doesn't end up like that bike wash that I was supposed to give to Chris.
That
I never did. Used it all too. It's gone.
Well, how did you get the bike wash out of the spray nozzle? That was the big issue.
Oh, there was some dramas
there. He just turned it to the on. Turned it around to where he's on.
Yeah. There was all sorts of problems.
Reading is hard, boys? Reading is hard.
Hey, speaking of supporting the show, if anyone wants to advertise in the show, hit us up on the socials because we've got a pitch deck we can send you. We've got some advertising opportunities going forward in 2025 as well. Because, believe it or not, the show runs at a loss. It'd be nice to have it at least break even.
I like the way Kevin's running this thing, like just that bit. Call us and we'll send you a pitch deck. It's like send an RFP.
Exactly.
We're putting sponsor and OTB podcast out to tender. That we're going to get 10 or 15 tenders. Pretty solid procurement process. You've got to go through the committee.
They have to mail in a self-addressed envelope, though. Honestly, Otherwise they ain't getting the
stamped
pitch
as well. Stamped,
and
self-addressed.
All our business communication is done via post.
Yeah.
We can probably use my works fax if we want to use that.
Well, we do. I don't know if you guys know this, but we do actually have a LinkedIn account. I created it a long time ago.
I'm an admin on it.
I haven't updated it. I think I might start pumping a bit of thought leadership out there.
We are a professional organisation. Hey, actually, we're getting very close to 1,000 followers on Instagram. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, or you've got friends that don't, you should tell a friend and get us up to that nice round 1,000 number. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. If you need to know the handle, just send us a message and we'll get back to you on our pages.
Yeah, we'll send you a page.
I think we could just cut this episode now and pump this out and because the last 5 minutes is probably some of the finest content that you'll find on the internet.
Yeah. We'll definitely just mess some stuff up when we start talking about racing. We'll forget someone will get upset with us, and it'll just be another standard episode.
Yeah, well, actually, on that, I just want to leave with a public apology about my historical inaccuracies last week.
Do tell.
I want to apologise to two groups of people. First of all, and mainly 16-year-old us, for forgetting, cultural icon that was such an important part of our youth. But then secondly, also to the viewers, and then thirdly, also actually to Thor Whitson himself, who, as I later learned, was not actually the producer of New World Disorder. So, Lester, if you just want to correct me on all of that, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, you were wrong. Thanks.
Yeah.
That put me down a nice rabbit hole on Spotify, though, listening to New World Disorder soundtracks.
Oh, they got playlists up, have they?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah, 1 to 10, mate. 1 to 10.
Wow,
That's good.
way behind.
Yeah. Last year, at a couple of when I was doing trainings with work, I would put the New World Disorder soundtrack on Spotify on my laptop and just have that playing through the conference room as people came in.
Just
Did you get any comments?
Just to see who knew.
It's a filter.
Yeah, there was
It's
a couple of knowing I know this song. I recognize this. So that's good.
That's
you got to see
cool.
who the true OGs are.
On the topic of just, and this is a segue into racing, but on the topic of mountain bike films, mountain bike DVDs, if the Sleeper Co team listens to the podcast, which I can only assume they do, or anyone knows them, just want to let them know if based on the edit they put out this week, if they did a full length edit, I think it would be on par with Earth. I'm putting it out there. It's a huge call, but one of the best short edits you'll see in a while. Sleeper Co.
My God,
thank you very much.
That was a
don't
good
even
one
bother
this week.
watching. Don't even bother watching the race footage. Don't even worry about who won.
Yeah.
Just watch that sleeper edit. It was fantastic.
See, what I want to see is I want to see that, and then I want to see a quick segment on what a group of the French dudes did between races, and then went dirt jumping or something, rode some motorbikes, and then the next race, and then footage of someone doing burnouts in a van, and then the next race. Just that. Give me that for an hour and a half, and that's your year's racing.
I don't know.
Tied up in a bow.
I don't know if the modern day World Cup races are doing much of that though. You'll probably see them in the gym doing some intervals, eating a salad.
I think the off season.
Probably not much fun stuff in between.
You could build that after the off season. You could definitely tie in their off season antics because there's been a few of those. There was a common style video a couple of years ago, which was pretty good. A few of the boys hacking up a paddock car.
Yeah, those.
That's right.
I mean, the Frenchies. The Frenchies.
Yeah,
the
Frenchies. Yeah, I reckon they're into it. Yeah, maybe not Loic so much, but.
Do you reckon you'll see anyone in maybe one of these sleeper edits? It'll be the day after they've just won a World Cup. They've got a horrific bruise on their side. Oh no, they didn't win a World Cup, but they had a World Cup winner with them. They got a horrific bruise on their side, and they're just punching it while they're still drinking from the night before.
They've been drinking all day? Probably not.
Yeah. Smoking cigars, just incoherent. I don't know if we'll see any of that.
Times have changed.
Haven't they?
Probably for the better, to be fair.
Yeah. Hey.
I think nowadays some of the downhillers can actually have a career and a life after racing instead of just wandering the earth.
Well, the man I just
Benoit from accounts is mountain biking is a side hustle because we know he's a financier.
That's right.
Benoit's got a solid career at a Big Four going forward.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Man,
I'd take advice from him on anything.
Racing
what do you think his specialty is?
Complex tax structures.
Oh, I think so too.
I think he's a forensic accountant.
Forensic accountant. Yeah, I'm with you, KB. He's definitely not a crypto trader.
Nah,
I reckon he's too straight laced. He's too by the book.
He's right into those forensics. He's diving deep.
Oh, who do you think on the World Cup circuit? Because let's assume they've all got side hustles like this. Who's most likely to be a drug dealer?
One of the guys on that
Mm.
common sale, I see like Matteo Iniguez or those dudes who are real styly that don't really look like they should be racers, but they're also real fast.
Yes.
Anyone that's got a chain.
Yeah, and a moustache.
Actually, I saw a picture of Finn Isles on track walk, and he had like one of those, like I don't even know how to describe them, but like a bum bag, but wearing it across his
Oh, I
shoulder.
was just about to bring up. You just got to
Yeah.
spot them with the
Yeah.
crossbody bag.
That's
Yeah.
that's if that's a sign of a drug dealer. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what isn't.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
and a
why
pair of
Finn's got
Cherokee
some.
Maxes.
Maybe that's why he's got
Mm.
recent popularity with some of the UK based riders.
Why? Because
If
he's
you
going to
know what I mean.
Glastonbury
No, he's going to Glastonbury. Yeah,
with
exactly.
that blooming bum bag on.
Blaster.
Yeah.
He's going to Glastonbury.
Oh. No, I reckon
Why do they
Finn's-
take so
Finn's
much stuff on
fun.
track walk? Like they've
Gear.
got poles and
Well, what if you get
everything.
lost up there? They're prepared for the
Maps.
mountains, man.
It's like they're
Haven't
going
you
to
seen?
Everest. One of them will have an oxygen tank, so
Well,
That
at
would be
any
good.
moment it could snow like a meter, so they're
That's
ready
true.
for it.
Especially if you're an
it's
enduro.
ridiculous.
So, do we want to discuss the race, or
I guess so. Do you
I
know
thought
what?
we
Not
were.
really.
are we just going to
Yeah,
do
we
it
have
indirectly?
segued into it now. We were going to start this week before we get too sideways and talking about me crashing my bike or something. We're going to start with Iris van Leuven just dominating
Oh my
another
God.
win. Holy shit,
She's
man.
on a roll.
That girl is on fire. It was massive. She's just like,
Amazing.
yeah, killing it right now. Was it
You
about...
get the sense that she's just going to keep going as well. Her and Valley be battling for the next 5 years.
I am real excited to see what happens when she goes into elite, because she is legitimate fast. Like, we've seen a few of these junior women come through, like obviously, the likes of Valley and that, but yeah, like I feel like Eris is every part on par with what Valley was as a junior.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good call, I reckon. Yep. Interesting few years to come, I reckon.
Sasha Ernest with another third, so like another strong result. Looked like she wasn't overly happy with the result, but still strong. Like, she's been riding well.
What about
feel
think
like
she wasn't happy?
all the Kiwi juniors, eh? How gnarly is that?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the lads did really well as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well, then
really good.
even though still staying with the junior woman before we segue over there, there was a girl, Bella Birchall, who I'd only just heard of recently, another Kiwi girl. She got fourth. And then Ellie obviously had a big crash, and she ended up sixth. She had a crash in her race run that was on the footage. So, man, there's some awesome talent coming through. It's just going to be getting stronger and stronger. Hopefully it just carries on deep. I reckon, like, hopefully there'll be a bunch of girls that are seeing the success here and just follow on with it.
It's very, very cool. We're in a really strong place with those girls. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, guys, I
think we
I'm a
talked
slightly
about this.
concerned that our level of enthusiasm is not what it should be for a Friday night, talking about people who are on the podium.
Yes.
Can we get a bit of spark in us?
Do we need
There's
do we
plenty of
need some
spark, mate.
Come
do we
on,
need
Red
some like
Dog.
cheers or some whoops or
Yeah.
What are
I
you
don't
looking
know.
for here?
Well, I don't know. A bit of personality,
Because we covered this off earlier, and like we don't want to go out to town, right? Because we're tired and we're old. So
no one
like
wants
the
to
reason,
hear us talk about riding bikes.
yeah,
Okay. I'll tone it down.
this
Alright,
is
we'll tell you what.
exciting.
I am going to get enthused now as well. I'm not going to say I'm not going to get enthused now, because I was very enthusiastic about the results from those junior women. They have been absolutely slaying it. But how about
Yeah.
fucking Tyler Waite and Luke Wayman on the podium? When was the last time we had two Kiwi junior men on a podium? Probably never. I don't know
Nah,
if
it's
we
been a long
even
time.
had one. Like, that was a
Cam Cole and Blinky, world champs.
true. That's a long time ago. That's
That's
18
a
years.
real long time ago.
No one was with Scalzi, right? No.
Nah. JD Swingen and Rory
Did
Cunningham.
George and Brooke? Was
Don't
Brooke?
think so. There was no
George
junior
fourth.
class at
Nah.
that point, really.
I'm only thinking world champs here.
Yeah, true. No, but it was fucking impressive. And did you guys see Luke Wayman's crash in the last corner?
No.
He hit the last left-hander, bogged the bike down, basically like went over the bars
Oh.
in his race run in the last corner, and had to like get up and I was going to say run, but he didn't exactly even manage to run. Like he kind of like shuffled, speed walked across the finish line. Like that
in
was
the hip corner after that stupid
literally
big run.
in the last left-hander. Like he was tumbling towards the finish line and kind of like gets up and shuffles his bike across the line and still
Oh,
got
was
on the
that-
box.
Was that him on the GT?
Yeah, that's Luke.
Yeah, right. I did
as,
see that crash. Yeah,
rides
that
for
was
win.
pretty nasty.
Mm.
Is he on the GT Continental team, or is he
Nah.
running his own program?
He's on Wins.
Like,
He's on the
in
Win deal.
privateer program.
He's on
Privateer
Win. Yeah, he's
action.
like on Win's team. So Win
right.
it's got him all dialed
That's
in.
so sick. How good is that? Go win.
Yeah, no, the Wayman brothers were around. Like there was Luke and I can't think of his older brother's name off the top of my head, but they were around in Christchurch a lot. Like when I was down there, and yeah, they were rapid, they were very fast, and like Luke's obviously really showing that now. So that's pretty cool.
What do you reckon, KB? You're still really tapped into the downhill scene. What do you reckon's going on with the juniors? Are they all pretty tight, like the guys and the girls, or are they just got the back from their folks, or what do you reckon it is? Because I'm assuming it's not like lowered vans and like dirt jumping at the skate park and shit.
Is
I
anyone
think it's-
operating is the danger bus back?
Don't
Do we
think
know
the
if the
danger
danger
bus
bus
is
is back?
around.
Yeah,
I think it's
no
probably
one's got a lowered high ass at this time.
It's probably Cycling New Zealand's input that's having the
I'd
biggest
say
impact
so.
in downhill. I think.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Cycling New Zealand is really driving this wave of juniors, I think.
Yeah.
Out of the Cambridge Downhill High Performance Centre.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got them on their downhill bikes around the track, around the velodrome.
Velodrome.
I think we
Yeah, I
might
don't
have
know.
talked about it before, but when we were at Coronet, especially those girls, like they're obviously a pretty tight group that all hang out and around together, and that's got to be a big part of it.
Yeah, fully. Yeah, they got to feed off each other for
I
sure.
think so. They're all pushing each other. And then, but man, I don't know, like, these guys are just, these young junior guys are fast as fuck. Like, it's real impressive. I think Luke Wayman put the fastest time of the day at the Christchurch National Round at the start of the year. And then Tyler Waite was
Really?
technically our national champ because he is our
Yeah,
elite national.
as well.
He is our national champ.
And he also was fastest time of the day at 2 national rounds, I think, as well. So
That's incredible.
yeah. Now these guys have got it. Like they got some serious talent going on, which is quite cool. Because again, like kind of we've had some serious lulls and talent come through. I mean, like you look at kind of our world champs team, and pretty old team. When you look at like Blinky, Win, like even George.
What's the average age, you think?
46.
It's got to be.
Not
It's got to be getting on a bit. I tell you what, it's quite cool as well. Is that Tyler obviously had a majority of the season, at least, off injured, and he comes back, and he was back for Worlds, wasn't he? So he's been back for 2 races, and
was
already
fourth at
back to
Worlds
front,
and second here. So
yeah, so that's pretty epic.
yeah, it's a bummer that he like obviously missed the bulk of the season building, but he's still on. He might be in his second year as under 19 now. But regardless, he's got a good team behind him. Being on Yeti, it's the sort of team that develops talent. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly as well. Like that's a good place to be. He's gonna be on bloody good equipment.
No, this is pretty cool. Elite woman, I was very happy to see Miriam win. I felt like she deserved it. It's
me
been
too.
a while.
Yeah, that was good. Agree.
That was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I like his style. Someone on this podcast said they didn't like the way she rode, but I think
No,
it's
that was
solid.
probably me. I don't like her style.
Yeah, so
I'm vocal. I'm not scared about that.
Nah,
Uh,
you've long said that about Leicester.
She's got a distinct style, and it's not one that I necessarily vibe with.
yeah.
Who would be the best style?
Doesn't pass the vibe check.
You like Valley?
Valley definitely got the best style. Yeah.
Tani? I like
Tani's
Tani's
got
style
pretty good
too. That's
style.
good.
Yeah, I like Valley though. She's got a better, I think, a broader range of style than Tani does. Tani
Okay.
does look good on the bike. Nina Hoffman though, she is still the worst style.
I couldn't agree more with you,
Hard to
Lester.
argue.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
punching
put
down
it
here,
out there.
Lester.
I'm really like, if she listens, fair play.
Probably
She's
doesn't.
much
It
faster than I
works.
would
It
ever
still
have
works.
been.
Yeah.
But whatever
Actually,
works, I suppose. Yeah.
do you know who I think's got a really good style? Is Sasha Ernest. I think she's
Yeah,
got a
good
really good riding
call.
style. Like
Mm.
she's super smooth. Like I think maybe it's the BMX background and that coming through, but I always enjoy watching her race runs. Like she's got some real skill behind it, which is cool.
I think I reckon she's helped by the fact that she's quite tall.
Mm,
Like you think Eris's style is different, but probably hampered because of her stature.
have you seen the whips that Eris throws?
Oh yeah,
Man,
she's got mad.
Yeah.
Like
it's
she can ride a bike.
legit.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying she's got a bad
No.
style. I'm saying she's got a good style. But imagine if she was a bit bigger.
Mm,
I think it would be even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty-
she might be
Something I
vying
wonder
for the
about.
top spot then.
I wonder a little bit whether there's a, we've talked about this before with the guys, whether there's like an ideal physique for downhill now, like in the current sport. Like there's got to be something about like, the enough sort of body mass to get the bike to hook up, to make the suspension work right and everything. And you see it with like, especially with the guys, because it's so distinct when you see, say, the difference between, say, some of the smaller dudes like Jackson, for example, compared to, say, like Loic. So Loic's just an absolute rig, and Jackson, especially first year in elite, was tiny, right? And it looks so different. Like those smaller dudes just sort of sit in the bike, and they
Yeah.
kind of look more like passengers. And I think you see that a little bit with the women as well, because obviously just naturally smaller physique. And I think that's one of the things with Nina, because Nina's so slight, and she does kind of look a bit more like she's sort of more of a passenger in some ways, but she's not. It's not that she's a passenger. It's just that
Valley.
the bike's not just getting hammered as much, but
Yeah.
Valley's
Valley's
strong,
just
right?
muscling it. She's strong.
Yeah,
I think there's a bit about probably bike setup as well as physique. I think makes a big difference in that too.
Man, how badly did Tani Seagrave get screwed in her run? Like rain
she's the
just
only
absolutely
woman that got
dumped.
rain, right?
Yeah, like Elise who started before her got a little bit, but man, it was by the time Tani was on track, it was absolutely dumping. Like she just got rolled. She just sucked.
And she was up at the first split too, and then it all went pear shaped.
Yeah, all turned to shit.
What could have been?
Yeah,
Phoebe
it was-
Gale in third
I've
though.
said this before. I'm bloody stoked to see her back competing at the top of the pile. Like she must have gone through the ringer in that year and a half that she had off.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for her, like just being right there, but just kind of
So close.
yeah, not getting
she
the win to
also
kind of
was-
back it up.
She had just really established herself as kind of like as the next woman to dominate right when she had her concussion. And that'd be a hard thing to come back from.
Yeah, no, it was brutal.
So
Yeah,
amazing.
Sucked to see that, but it actually led into probably one of the more entertaining races for me. I actually quite enjoyed watching the wet race this week. I thought it was quite good.
Because it wasn't completely nailed, right? Like it was
Nah.
still rideable.
And it actually really like brought through some like serious skill, which was quite cool to see. But
Benoit was on another planet
too.
that way. Like
dude,
he looked so good.
His run was unreal. Like Andy was talking about how he reckons he didn't leave it all out there either. Like he just smashed it. It was awesome.
What I reckon was super impressive was him and, basically all those top guys were riding a lot of high lines in the off camber like they were dry, and other dudes couldn't even ride the section. Pretty impressive.
I wonder if it was a tyre thing, because there was a lot of discussion going on the commentary about like people putting spikes on, putting cut spikes, full spikes, and that sort of thing. So It would be actually quite interesting to know who was on what tyres.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Interesting as well, like saw a race run, especially Bemo, because it was raining pretty heavily when he came down.
Yeah.
And it looked like the track was at that point where it was raining and there was enough water on the track that the mud wasn't being clogged up. So, like, it looked like he had grip. And like a couple of days earlier, when it had been raining but the track hadn't been bedded in, and it just churned to shit. It was such a mess a couple of days earlier. But then it was actually raining on race day and it looked way better. And it's weird, though, because the same thing happened last year, right? Like, it was just a slop fest last year. And it's like that track looks like it needs to go through, like, 300 riders thrashing it for a couple of days before it can be any good. Unless it's
bedded
dry.
in.
Yeah.
Do you think it was going away at the end there, the track?
I think
in terms of condition?
I think
It certainly seemed like some ruts were starting to go.
Yeah, it looked like it was getting stickier as well. Like, it looked like it was slowing down a bit in terms of, like, I mean, when there's running water on the track, like, I just, from few races I've had where it's been absolutely pouring rain, and you can actually just ride it. If you just commit to that, like, where the water's going, there's so much grip, and it's so fast.
Totally,
Tyres are nice and free, and works quite well.
So I think, like, BMI might have actually benefited from potentially some of the better conditions across the course of the day.
The hardest part is just managing your goggles at that point. Like, if it's pouring with rain, that's the downfall.
To ride at that pace and that commitment when it is raining, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
And if you're a forensic tax accountant, you do see things pretty black and white. You're like, okay, race time, we go racing.
It's like the Matrix. He was just zoned in.
You have not carried the one here.
Go ahead,
I was most impressed to see Reece Wilson. I thought that was a really good run, and he slayed it. And I'm a bit of a fan of Reece, to be fair, and I think he's just had a tough break for so long.
I was just about to ask if he has now solidified himself as one of the greatest mud rider only riders of all time.
Yes, yeah.
I know he's had some great results otherwise, but yeah, he kind of pulls his results out when the conditions are at their absolute worst.
Yeah.
Did you see
how big does his 6D helmet look?
Oh, it's huge.
It's the modern day golf ball. It's a good thing he's got some graphics on it though.
Go good in Italy.
I think 6D was still around.
Yeah, it's still going strong.
Friend of the show, Dan Sims was a big 6D guy.
Was it? Especially another small guy running a huge helmet.
Yeah.
Wilson's not small, is he?
Well, he looks small with that helmet on.
Helmet he is, yeah.
When they move his Spaceballs and he's got the big helmet, it's like that.
Yeah, totally.
There was a classic Reece Wilson run though. Like, you were talking about dudes getting high lines and stuff, and Reece is just riding in these places that no one else is. Like, he's just like, he's got this vision for, well, the track's wet and it's fucked, so I'm just going to ride like a meter up here higher than anyone else is.
Yeah, fully.
And he can just go there. Like, it's so impressive.
Did you guys catch in Lowick front? There was a suggestion in the commentary that he got like a timing update halfway down.
He did, I reckon.
It was his trainer, Nick.
Yeah. So my question is, how far away are we from pit boards?
I was just thinking this, like, in the last couple of days. I was thinking about that with Lowick getting his update allegedly, and I was like, man, I wonder how long before we just have someone a team like Specialized who has the personnel, and they'll maybe put like 2 people on track at like key splits, and they'll have like a pit board of like +1, -1, like, yeah.
I reckon Trek
tires are no good. I cannot push.
I cannot.
I
think Trickwood Racing did it.
Yeah.
Probably.
I do recall this.
And
like Martin days. Back when they had the wind tunnel thing and they got those stupid flares and they
they were going to
this doesn't work in a crosswind.
Do you know what the problem I'd have though is I'd get like, if someone was at the midway split or whatever, and I'd get the like, plus 24 second and I'd be way
Yeah.
down as per normal.
Go throw the bike off
And
the
then
side
I'd
of the
probably
track.
just try and go as fast as I could, and then I'd just eat shit.
I think it's only relevant when you're at the level of Loic and it's the
Oh,
overall
you're
that's on the
not
line,
saying
right?
I was at the level of Loic.
Like, well, I mean, you might have
I'm
been.
not saying
Kieran.
that.
Maybe if I had a pitboarder.
Maybe
No,
if you
see,
had a pit board.
I think at KB would be a little different. Like the setup would be essentially you'd have Dawnhill. For our listeners who don't know, Dawnhill's the Kieran's old yoke that's still doing the jobs and
Still in
Nelson.
the
But
family.
you'd have
No longer
Dawnhill be
Dawnhill,
parked
though, eh?
halfway down the track.
Nah.
No, because that's
It's
in
no longer
KB's
Dawn.
garage.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll
we should change the name of the
just pack
podcast
the
to
truck up
Dawnhill
when I found
Podcast.
out that I was already 10 seconds down, and I just leave from halfway
Yeah.
down the track, you reckon?
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
he's
it.
gone.
Like you've got your Dawnhill's parked halfway down the track, and about 10 metres up the track from Dawnhill, you've got Red Dog with a pit board,
Yeah.
but it just says, fucking put it in the van, we're going home.
No,
Yeah,
do you know
we're
what it would
going home.
say? Red Dog? It would say too slow, pull off.
Too slow, pull off. Too slow, pull off. And then by the time prize giving happens, Kerry's at bloody Springs Junction. He's out of there.
He's already
It's already
half home.
Home in time for dinner.
A smart move on their part, though, really, for that overall play.
Yeah. But then, because that's what I figured, I was like, I figured he either like yelled to him that Amory had crashed or something, so that, or whatever. But then at the bottom, he was getting interviewed by the chick, I can't think of what her name is, and she tells him like that he's won the overall, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, no way, really, I didn't know." Like he genuinely didn't seem like he actually realised. So
Really?
yeah, I don't
that's an
know.
interesting point. Didn't put those two things together.
But he I think one of the things with that idea of like a pit board type deal is you'd need the type of rider who could do that, because
Gotta
there's
go to
probably
execute.
still not many guys who you could say, okay, back it off, and they can back it off like 5%,
Yeah.
but not
fully.
back it off more than that. And that's lower. He could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he went from like green to then like just back it off a little bit, roll
He
it in for a
he
fourth.
visibly got more like conservative.
Yeah, 100%. You could see it.
We've skipped over Andy Cole with a third. Also another fantastic mud rider, as we've found out.
Yeah,
But-
pretty good.
Fantastic mustache too. Big fan
Very much so.
of Andy Cole. How
Are you
about
gonna
Ronan
grow
Dunn?
another
I thought
mustache, Kieran?
what's that? You want me to grow a
Are you
mustache?
gonna grow another mustache?
I mean, maybe for November.
You
Just
look good with the mustache, KB.
if I really
Yeah,
want to
he
put
did
my
look good,
wife
eh?
off and keep her away from me, I'll grow a mustache
No,
again.
it's not the mustache doing that.
At least you're not on the couch, though.
That's true.
It's
Shout
true.
out to Caleb Smith. Ronan Dunn. How did he come back for a podium from that crash in the grass up the top? That was impressive. That dude can ride a bike, man.
Mm. Was that a win
But-
in the bag?
Must have
Well, I mean,
been.
he was less than 4 seconds back, so
I
It's hard
reckon his crash was at least 6.
yeah.
Ooh.
Any crash like that is like a good 5 seconds plus.
Yeah.
Just the
Not
loss
to
of
be.
momentum, the potential, like you're getting back going, kind of thinking like fuck, like trying to get your shit together and potentially muddy gloves and everything like that. So yeah, it could have easily been a win. But he's the
He's an
only
exciting rider to watch, though.
he's the only non-French rider to win a World Cup this year.
So
Wow.
far.
Every other World Cup has been won by Loic, Amory, Benoit, and Loris won world champs.
Nice one, champ.
Interesting.
Wow.
Go to the Frenchies.
They're
Yeah.
not investing much in downhill, are they? French?
No,
Don't seem to be.
go the Frenchies, but go the Irish. Ronan Dunn in 5th and O'Shane O'Callaghan in 6th. Like
Yeah.
Ireland, the last 2 years, I mean, we've always known they've been a strong downhill. Many strong Irish downhill races over the years. Hard to think of an example right now. There's so many of them, but
Just
these two.
read, bro.
Ben Reed, Just Reed
Yeah.
Racing,
Glenn
Rowan's-
O'Brien.
Rowan Sorrell.
Oh, now we're going
Here's
back.
another one.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, actually,
there's a real
speaking
obvious one I'm now forgetting.
of Chris Ball,
Paula says.
Yeah,
He's Scottish, isn't he?
yeah, he is Scottish.
Yes.
Speaking of
Jeez,
You're right.
he's
You got
getting
us.
knifed for that.
speaking of Irish, though, I think one of my favourite parts was there was a clip of Rick McLaughlin, commentator Rick, and he's sitting in the commentary booth, and he looks like a quintessential Irish guy. Like he could have been any absolutely like Guinness riddled pissed guy you've pulled out of an Irish pub. Like he just looks like an absolute mess. It's so good. You could not look any more Irish if you tried right now. It's great.
I like it. I
Yeah,
like Rick.
shout out to our Irish listeners, just going, maybe just going deep on some stereotypes there.
Yeah, we don't like to stereotype, but he just was, he was very Irish.
Speak-
It's great.
I tell you what, though, Rick McLaughlin as a commentator is getting better and better. He's got
I
his
like
shit
Rick.
together, eh? Like
He's
he,
good.
I noticed it this time how he's got like consistent commentary for every rider the whole way down the track, and he's got the pace as well. Like he's coming to his own. It's good. Glad to see it.
How about
And
Charlie
obviously
Murray in the
Chaz
booth?
Mudge. Yeah, Chaz Mudge featuring.
Yeah, that was
He
solid.
brought the excitement.
He was pumped. Chaz was
Yeah.
just so excited, but he got some good insights in there too. Like it's cool to
Yeah,
see.
he did.
What I think is great is seeing he obviously realizes the value of getting in there and doing this stuff now for building, well, A, building his own brand, but B, the future. Like, get yourself some booth time. It's a win all around.
Gwen's good too. Gwen's going strength to strength for me. I
Yeah.
really like his analysis. And he raced. He raced this weekend.
Yeah,
He got
and
30th.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a big crash
It's-
too.
Yeah. And then he just appears in the booth. I didn't know what like number rider he appeared, but like he was in there for most of the time.
Yeah, he turned up pretty quick after his run, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it took him too long.
Straight in. Good on him. Is he going to win again? Am I going to make some money off you guys yet again? Which I
Nah.
never saw the last payment.
I don't think he even...
I can't see it happening.
No.
No.
As much as
I'll take those beers off you again.
Hey, you
That's-
by all means, Red Dog. I'd love to see it happen, but I can't see it happening.
So, it's over.
On commentary quickly, can we just take a moment to recognise that Cedric just disappeared?
He's doing the French. He's doing the French
He's in
commentary.
the French
apparently.
one.
Right.
He does the French
Well, that
commentary.
probably makes a lot
What about-
more sense.
Is Claudio doing the Swiss one?
He's out
Yes.
with a concussion.
In Swiss German or Swiss French? or
Feminine
Swiss-
one, or...
Yeah.
Is Dakota Norton just going to live this life of being the guy who is on a winning run and crashes out in massive style? Because that is the third race this year that it's happened to him.
Is someone going to tell him that it's because he hasn't got enough weight over the front end?
Who's going to bring up that awkward conversation with him?
I reckon he's in the Finn Isles zone.
Because we had,
You know
we had
when
the Poland,
Finn
we had the
went
race in
through that?
Poland where he crashes out. We had World Champs where he crashes out like two corners
Crashes
from
out.
the end, and then again this weekend, like on a potentially winning run and goes down again.
I wonder
I
if he
reckon guys
looks
have
at the
a lot of them
link
have been through
between.
this.
I wonder if he looks at the link between bar height and blowing out. What do you reckon?
Yeah, probably not. I think he's pretty. He's got it. Once you go to those bars, I feel like you've just really got to run with it. Like
He's
you're
just
committed.
too committed
Yeah,
to
he
the.
can't. There's no going back.
So
When
it's
you
really
show
his
up at a
own
World
doing.
Cup with 75 mil high rise bars on, you have to stick with those.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
He's got. He's like another Benoit. Like just this, almost a slow burn. That'll. Sure, it'll come around at some point, but
I guess
man,
we'll see.
He's got to be frustrated.
Do you think he wins one?
I reckon
Yeah.
he'll win one, but I reckon
Yeah.
it'll be next year.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win Mont Saint Anne.
Because you think about the step that he's made up, the step up in his pace this season versus last year.
Yeah,
I think if he can iron out those, kinks into next season, I reckon next season he could be on.
I tell you who I think seemed real frustrated was Finn. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, he looked
interview with
very
him
frustrated.
afterwards. You could tell he was just because after last week, he was in great shape and he was pretty pumped. But he was real down on himself after this weekend, and sorry, I just got
Where are you going there, mate?
I think he just he seemed like he was disappointed that he hadn't handled the conditions well. Like he'd just thrown a lot away.
How much did you enjoy the Warner Brothers live feed girlfriend cam when Finn crashes and it just keeps going to shots of Tani on the side?
Yeah.
Like, how
that's awkward.
I was like, this is clearly a thing because the camera just keeps going to Tani like with her head in her hands, and I'm like, come on, guys, like, do we need to see this? Can we just go back to the race? Like, we get it.
I'm
We
so
get what you.
disappointed they didn't do it with Horse on the GT with the GT guys. I'm so disappointed. They had a
As the
prime
manager.
opportunity. Yeah.
Tough one. I just quickly with Finn. Do you think he's he's a lifer with Specialized, or do you think at some point he has to get out from underneath Loick's rock?
I think
There's
that's
a lot
a
of rumours out there at the moment, isn't there?
good question. I haven't heard any Finn rumours, but
because Finn in the last couple of years has definitely kind of taken that step to be a top tier guy consistently, despite what people have said about him in the past. But being a teammate of Loick's would be pretty tough. You've got to think.
I don't feel like it's not like I don't feel like that team is the classic A and B rider though. Like Finn's still getting everything. Wait, who is that other kid? Jordan Williams. What's happened to him?
He's been out all year with injured.
Right, there you go. I was just suddenly thinking, I was like, there's no real A and B, but actually,
not all year.
There was Jordan
Thanks
Williams,
for
so I've
following
totally
the sport,
forgotten about. Yeah, it happens.
I think
there's a lot of riders
they
out
may
there.
not be A and B riders, but they naturally fall into that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're always going to be a B rider to Loic, but I don't feel like Finn is not getting what he deserves. Like he's still getting all the equipment. I'm sure he's getting paid
I don't
well.
mean so much that. Like
he's not.
They look like they've got equal shit going on. I don't think it's that. And like if you look at last weekend, clearly like he's there. I think it's more like how tough it would be being in the same pit, traveling everywhere with the guy that just everyone knows is probably the greatest racer of the current time. Like you never get to sit in a different pit and kind of get that out of your sight. And I wonder a little bit whether that's like
some
that
people
that could either be hard or it could be good.
Yeah, I was gonna say for some people they might like that because then the pressure's off them. Because it's like you're not the guy who's expected to win. So if you come through and do pull off a win, like, yeah, awesome. Like you've kind of come out of nowhere. Totally depends on your mentality on it, though.
Would be interesting to know, wouldn't it? I mean,
do you think it would be hard for that in that position though? Because like, I'm sure those guys feel like if I was me in that position on that team, and you're riding these custom bikes that are like built specifically to the size you want, and you can basically do whatever with them. It's probably hard to look out from that team and look at another bike and be like, oh yeah, that's going to be better than what I'm on now. You're looking around going, well, they're on stock bikes, they're on stock bikes. I can do whatever I want. Like I could call up and Specialized will have me one with a 2 degrees slacker head angle if that's what I want to have. And it'll get built like race chassis.
You've got to be the right
chassis.
100%, but you've got to be the right guy for that, right? Like,
yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, there's always going to be some riders who like that would make it worse for them. Knowing that they can change a head angle by half a degree, but then also kind of like if you're not someone that knows why you do that or can identify how like what impact that would have, but you've got that available to you and possibly even the expectation of doing it because it's there. Like for some people that would be a real negative, and not a negative, but would be a massive distraction. Where like some of these guys
bad
get up, get running, and away they go.
Depends how bad your imposter syndrome is, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a rock and a hard place, isn't it? Really, like I mean, we don't know his mentality, but he might be in there going, I need to be the key guy here, or just for his own confidence or whatever. But he can't go anywhere else to get the same perks or same advantages that he has. Rock and a hard place.
I just think it's like it's like everyone else, right? Everyone knows that in order to win, they've got to beat Loic or they've got to beat
Emery.
Emily. Right. So those are the two guys that every weekend you're kind of going, I know I'm probably going to have to beat those guys. And then there's there's 20 other guys there that you might also have to beat on the day. But if one of those guys is literally in your in the team van with you,
They're in a circle.
You wouldn't be able to block that out as easily. I'm not suggesting that's the case, but it would be interesting because he's clearly a top, he's a podium guy. But every weekend, every morning at a race, he's waking up going, I've got to beat Loic first.
Speaking of the team rumours and, ending up with that kind of level of riders on the same team, we talked the last one about Loris moving to common style. And by all accounts, I heard it from another source just last week. From a source
What's his
within...
name rhyme with?
I cannot tell you what his name rhymes with.
No one will get it.
No one will get it because they won't actually know who he is, but he works for common style.
Okay.
And
Max.
Yeah, Max. I was just chatting to Max.
You want to hold a lap to Max?
Yeah, it's just
good.
had him on WhatsApp, just checking in on if he needed
Yeah.
any advice. But yeah, so the
Yeah,
Loris
what do you
thing
need,
is
mate?
done by all accounts, and apparently Benoit might be moving into the team as well. So I've heard two. I've heard Benoit to Scott, and then I've also heard the Scott team might not be around. But then I also heard from the same person saying that basically it sounds like there's going to be like a common style A team, which is going to be like Benoit, Emery, Loris, Miriam, and potentially Camille Blanche.
Wow.
So that's gnarly.
That's a
lot of coin.
Team. Yeah.
I think that's the exception to what I've just been saying because they're all Frenchies. And when you look at these French guys, right, they all know that they are dominating the sport. And I reckon
Camille's
Loris is
not
going to
French.
go really well there because he's going to be, Loris. But Loris is going to be in a French team with French guys, and they're all going to be pushing each other.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously we don't
very
know
hypothetical.
any of them. We don't know any of them personally, but Loris and Amory seem like very different personalities from the outside looking in. So I wonder how that plays off when they're both battling for the number one position.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're best buddies like Loic and him as well. Who knows? But
it'd be interesting to see what kind of shakes out there, because then you've got a dude like Dylan Maples who's been putting in some real strong results. So it's like maybe there is this secondary kind of team, because I mean then you've got those two junior brothers, the Orans, who are on the same team coming up, and so yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out. Then the other thing I heard is that Reece Wilson is off track and potentially without a ride. So if Loris and Reece are gone,
the vital rumours would say that there's an external new team coming.
Right. I haven't actually looked at the vital rumours lately. A Trek
that
one.
Was a vital rumour.
Like a team, like a new team in the World Cup.
Yeah, new team or potentially existing team, but fully reskinned with external funding.
So the rumour I'd heard, which could be that one, was Gamix making a bigger return. So,
what do you mean a bigger return?
Well,
making, how big are we talking here?
Well, I think they have like a privateer team, but I think basically trying to make a proper, like a high level team. So,
what
I was thinking with Loris and Reece moving on from Trek, surely we see Lockie move up to Trek Factory Racing.
It's got to be
maybe
not even this year, but even if it's the following year.
But then who's going to go in there next year? If they've got two top-level elite riders going out, well, they got Bodie Kuhn.
My hot take is that scoop up Asa Vermaat.
Yeah, so I've got a little bit of interesting insight from somebody.
Who are you guys talking to?
Do you
Like, I
not
don't
need
talk
to worry
anyone who
about it,
knows
Red
about this
Dog?
stuff. Like,
Don't
The,
worry
what are you,
about
like,
it.
just what, you bump into these dudes in the street? Like,
yeah, basically.
Supermarket. It's at the supermarket.
Debate. So I don't know how
No,
far
chat forums, Red
through.
yeah,
MSN
forums.
Messenger.
I don't know how
They're in
far.
chat rooms.
They're on Reddit threads, eh?
ICQ.
That's where they are. It's
I don't know
conspiracy
how far
theories and rider movements.
I don't know how far through this reach goes, but apparently, word on the street, word on the Reddit forum, is that Trek are cleaning house a bit and only want to sign, or the new riders they want to sign will all be North American. So
Yeah, I
I
can
they
believe
don't
go
that.
back
know
to
whether
that
this is
setup.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
know that
see-
they've always been super strong in getting North American riders.
Wisconsin's taking charge.
So, yeah,
See, I reckon that theory makes a lot of sense. So you've got like American downhill is as good as it's been in forever, and there is a pretty deep bench now of American World Cup guys, and okay, you do have American teams there, but there's no top tier factory team out of the States right now, but there's a lot of top tier factory brands out of the States.
See a Lucas Shaw going to Trek. I could see that.
yeah, totally. So
Yeah, I can see that.
the other side to that, from what you were saying about Asa, Chris, was that Nico was on one of the Downtime podcasts or something, apparently saying that Asa has said that he will see through his contract with him, which he's got another year on. But also apparently there was other parties trying to buy him out of the contract with Frameworks because he was so sought after. So
it wouldn't surprise me, and this is definitely like a bit of a hot take, but it wouldn't surprise me if Trek was paying part of a salary to Asa, keeping him on Frameworks
Retainer.
to then bring him through like a retainer type thing. And the part of the reason for that is because like Frameworks is just not a threat to Trek, right? They're like, if anything, it would be a really good relationship for them to have, because Frameworks could effectively be like a really good development partner or a chassis.
They already have that with Specialized.
yeah, the
Well,
thing
what Frameworks does.
Yeah, they have a partnership with Specialized.
Do they? Actually, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Specialized is one of their team sponsors.
The thing that I would say about Asa and that kind of
So
setup,
there's an
Chris,
avenue
would
for it.
be that Asa's stock is only going to go up in the next season. So for him to have a deal already signed would be pretty short-sighted. But who knows? It's going to be super interesting to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Might not go up.
Going
Might
back
party
to
all
what we were
off
talking
season.
about last week, if you're putting together a factory team right now and you've got legit budgets and you've got eyes on, say you're saying, okay, cool, we want a world championship in the next 3 or 4 years. You're looking at that junior field and you're going, I need one of those top 4 guys now. Like all of those guys that are knocking on the door of the top step of the juniors will be lining up pretty decent contracts, you've got to think. And so like Lucas Shaw, right? You go, well, do you sign a Lucas Shaw or do you sign, one of those top tier juniors? And I think that where the sport's going at the moment, you probably want to get a top tier junior, wouldn't you?
Oh, it's going to be, I think we talked about this last episode, it's going to be a race, it's just going to get younger and younger. They're going to be signing these kids 2 years before they can race juniors because they see them winning national champs. That's where it's going to go.
And that, fellas, is how we're going to keep ourselves, in good bikes as we go through. We've all got kids, and we're going to get some development teams lined up, and we're set. Never playing retail again, fellas.
Taking Charlie out for some corner drills and intervals tomorrow. I'm straight on it. 15 years, this will be paying off.
No, see, this is the thing though. You go you're pushing your kids into which part of the sport are we going? We'll push them straight into racing, or are we going maybe into the media side? because Chuck and Oscar have got a pretty good pathway into the media side of the sport right
they've got
now.
a good.
KB.
I'm really forging a pathway for them into media at this point.
Absolutely.
One day, boys, you can inherit all of this shit.
You'll have all of this and a hot rod chassis.
The other one I heard, I don't know if we talked about it last episode. I can't remember whether we did, but I'd heard that FMD was off Canyon. Sounds like Canyon is tightening everything up. Did we talk about that? So what I
think we
heard
did,
last
yeah.
week was that FMD will be on Orbea.
Ooh, haven't heard that one.
on the e-bike.
Yeah, they're all just
They'll
racing
have heaps
e-bikes
of
with
those
no motors or
frames,
batteries in them.
Because did you hear EWS or E whatever it is gone?
EDR
Even though it
is
was hyped
dead.
to be the only thing, apparently it's
No,
dead. Can you
it's gone.
substantiate these rumors, Kerry?
Well,
Hey,
and
fuck for that.
that allegedly I may or may not have was sent a reform document that had confidential stamped all over it. That
Oh, was it in there? I only flicked through.
yeah, it
I
may
didn't
or
see
may
it.
not have said in there that EDR will be taking a pause.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Range anxiety.
Yeah, they got range anxiety of how far the series will go.
That is a good thing for the EDR because if all the EDR did was serve to dilute enduro racing, because you're suddenly going, it's the same format of racing, but those guys have got motors and those guys don't. You're splitting your viewers. Completely pointless.
Nah, it didn't make much sense. I don't know. I
I'm
think
glad for that.
yeah, I don't think it'll be too much missed. That's
Not for me.
that's pretty much all my team rumors that I've got at this stage. Apparently, there is a lot of mingling going on in the pits, from what I heard. There's a lot of people going and visiting other tents all around the place. So it sounds like a lot of unknown. Like the person I was talking to that's over there, amongst the thick of it, was saying that basically not many people actually have contracts. There's a lot of they're going here, but
Ins
there's
and
not
outs.
really any clear signs on contracts or anything like that, because I just don't think anyone has any clear idea of what the hell's going to happen with the World Cup next year. So teams are hesitant. They're waiting to find out what's actually happening so they can set budgets. So yeah.
Hopefully in the next month we'll know.
Yeah, but those teams that will be there next year, okay, for the uncertainty, absolutely. You can see how frustrating that would be for everyone. And this is easier to say from a couch at the other end of the world, not in any way involved in it. But the teams that are going to be there next year, they'll have their shit together. They may not know exactly what the details are.
Budgets are only going to get slashed again this year. The bike industry has not recovered yet.
Yeah, totally. But if you're one of those teams that will be there next year, it's only a question of what your budget's going to be, not whether or not you're going to be there. And that's kind of got nothing to do with what, in some ways, those teams are insulated from what the UCI decides to do. But also, they'll be talking to the big teams. So, like the Treks, the Specialized, like the big brands will
I don't know.
be. You'd expect that they will. It's the same with motorsport, right?
You'd expect, but it doesn't sound like it. It still sounds like it's really unknown.
And even if they are, you might strike a situation where the higher ups in those companies haven't actually set a budget for the race team because they don't know all the costs yet, which then totally influences the rider pay packet.
Because you might be looking, right? You might be going, "Hey, we can sign Benoit Coulange, for argument's sake, the hottest commodity in terms of a rider without a contract or knowing one right now, but maybe we can't sign him because we can't commit to that other $100,000 over signing Reese Wilson." So
I think one of the things that's probably different is that it's not necessary. It may not be the teams and the team managers that actually are going to be calling the shots now. Because you think about it this way, right? So you're the CMO at Specialized right now, and all of a sudden you're dealing with like Discovery and Warner Brothers, or Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes, whatever they're called. That's completely different, right? So now you're going, well,
it is Warner Brothers, right?
The relationship, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Roadrunner.
Yeah.
The relationship between say, Specialized as brand and downhill racing as a marketing exercise or an expense or whatever else is very, very different when it's Warner Brothers on the other side. And that's what I mean. Like the CMO at Specialized will be talking to someone at Warner Brothers, and they will have an input into how the sport evolves and how the coverage evolves and all the rest of it, because those brands have got the as much of a say over like the value of the racing as anything else. And I think that what ends up happening is the teams are just going to get told, cool, we're in, this is the budget, and we've committed to Warner Brothers that there's going to be camera crews in the pits. I think it's very different in the future.
Let's hope you're right, Chris.
Yeah, I can't
I'd
answer
say a
that.
lot of people probably wouldn't hope for that, but
I mean, just like this is the bike industry is the other problem. Warner Brothers might have it all organised, but that doesn't necessarily mean the other side of the fence is organised. It was so interesting to see. I heard an interesting thing today that so Rafa was going to be signed as the clothing supplier to the Jumbo Visma. No, what are they called now? Jumbo Lisa Bike.
Jumbo Lisa Bike.
Visma Lisa Bike.
Visma Lisa Bike.
Visma Lisa Bike. But like the day before they were due to sign, Rafa just pulled out. And so now Visma's got no clothing supplier apparently for next season.
Well, KB and I were looking for some new kit. Maybe that tipped into our favour.
Maybe.
Maybe it's because we didn't put that order in.
And particularly for road, who are way more organised than mountain bike, mid-September, still trying to figure out your clothing package is pretty crazy. So who knows? I mean, it'll be interesting to see. It would be nice to think that Warner Brothers were organised enough in conjunction with particularly the big teams to make it all happen.
I think part of the problem is like there's this whole reform kind of idea and theory, but it still has to be signed off by the UCI. Like they can't just Warner Brothers can't just go, this is what we're going to do going forward. We're going to make this change, this change, this change.
Yeah.
We're going to reset the sport, because the UCI still have to sign off and say, yeah, you can do this.
And I bet you that the UCI ends up becoming the thing that actually holds it back, because it goes back to that bit, right? So, okay, people who are looking at going like, who's got the commercial interest in downhill racing? Okay, brands who see it as exposure, and whether those are bike brands or non-bike brands that see it as a good vehicle for marketing, whatever else, and Warner Brothers who are like, hey, this is a really good sport to market and to tell stories around, blah blah blah, because it is, and like that relationship's got common interest, right? But then the UCI is just the sporting body, and then you're reliant on the UCI having a clear vision for what downhill's going to become. And if that's in contrast to what the brands and
Probably about as clear
Warner
as
Brothers
Cycling New Zealand have.
Exactly. And that's where as much confusion is coming from.
No, that's valid. Anyway, we're not going to fix the sport on the podcast. So
Warner Brothers put together a nice slide pack though, so that counts for most of it.
It's all about a good slide deck.
Yeah.
KB's got a good slide deck.
I do. Send a stamp, self-addressed envelope.
And KB will send you a document, and then you can send an RFP.
Yep.
KB will send you an RFP.
To print it out?
Red Dog?
I think we send an RFP.
No, they send an ROI. They send an ROI, and then they respond to an ROI, and then we send it out.
Send an ROI.
Isn't that return on investment? Isn't that what we tell them they'll get for sponsoring the podcast?
Aren't we supposed to
interest.
sponsor an ROI?
Registration of interest.
Don't we just give each other a high five and call it a deal?
Yep. Done.
Yeah.
I thought good. KB was going to be like just hit the road with this thing. Be a road warrior.
Do a road trip, you reckon?
Yeah, road show.
So late 90s Falcon.
I love it. KB's doing trainings, like he's down in Queenstown doing trainings for work, and then he's like, oh, wrong slide deck.
Whoops. Actually, are you interested?
He's just popping around to Rod Drury's house to try and sign up some advertising.
Oh, I love
it.
Look, Rod, you could do a lot worse than this. You could do a lot better, but you could do a lot worse.
I don't know if you could do much worse. There's a big race coming up in like 6 weeks, guys.
Is that 6 weeks away?
I think so.
Dear God, I really need
I'm
this
just-
arm to heal up and my
Just getting
back.
it off the top of my head, but
Oh,
where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Fuck. It's just a classic, like, I thought I was going to come in so much more prepared this year, and then I crash riding when I go out for a quick ride for an hour and then hit the deck and end up blowing my
Show's
arm open
over.
and breaking a rib.
Mm.
Good times. But you, Chris, you're looking pretty lean, mate.
He's looking lean. Don't let him deceive you.
Because he's off the booze, that's why.
Till
You can
tomorrow.
see it.
I'd say so, yeah.
Well, I was on the booze yesterday, last night, and I'll be back on it tomorrow. So,
Well, maybe that's
So
what
for
it
the
is
moment.
then. Maybe that's all that's sustaining you and the weight's just falling off.
look, this is kind of like a sporting experiment where I'm going, how well can I kind of just come off the couch, but just, like that cliche of, yeah, I've got a pretty good base. Like I said that to Red Dog in the pub the other day. Like, yeah, I reckon I've got a good base. Not sure what the base is made up of, but I've got a good base to work with. And so, I'm relying on just I think about like Bradshaw, right? Bradshaw is my inspiration for this. Friend of the show, Tom Bradshaw.
Are you just going to ride with a
Um,
backpack full of boiled potatoes?
No, certainly not that. But here's a man who, at the drop of a hat, could go and ride, from here to Canada. He probably has done exactly that.
He
Now,
could be on the
He's doing
spectrum.
it on another level, though, right? Because he's constantly up here. But I'm sort of thinking, what if I'm just constantly down here? But that's where I need to be to have a good day out, by my own standards at Fokker and enjoy the day.
That's a win.
I think, like, you've seen the Icarus documentary where he just, like, dopes himself up to the eyeballs to try and do better at the race the next time around, whereas you're just coming in, like, I'm just going to see if I can do the exact same thing, like, and just come in with very little effort and see if I can make myself better.
That's called insanity.
I'm going to come in with good vibes.
Yeah, nice.
Pure
Are
mentality.
you going to ride
That's
with a
gonna be
USB
true.
speaker then?
Oh, I could see
Yes.
that.
Totally do that.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna ride with a backpack full of Max and Jesus.
just
Or
just
is it
all
Max
poured
What
into
am I
the
taking, Red Dog?
camelback.
Yeah. Hey, the
Gaviscon.
one thing I did learn actually, Gaviscon.
Maybe Gaviscon will sponsor us.
100%. Yeah, big pharma. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
So the one thing I learned at the fault line race that we did was apparently salt and vinegar chippies are my like my golden ticket to survival. And so I think I've nailed the nutrition now. So a couple bags of Bluebird salt and vinegar chippies.
Not
some
Wapachini.
Gaviscon.
The family size ones? Like the big
Yeah,
one?
I'm going to have just one big
There's a lot of
bag
air
in
in
my
there, eh?
backpack.
Like, how are you going to pack
Yeah.
those?
No, I'll
Are
let
you
the air
crushing
out.
them
But
into your
then we've
camelback
got-
and mixing them up with Gaviscon?
I've got a little bento box on the top tube, like triathlon style, and we're just scooping them out. Yeah.
Do it.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do the PMP XC race on Sunday, Red Dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I look forward to seeing the result. Be great.
Oh, must be nice, guys. Must be nice.
I won't be. It'll suck.
Nah, they're hard. They're real hard. You got to go fast at the start, otherwise they'll just leave you behind. And it's
That's
really
what-
Well, that's what I'm
Cross-country
thinking.
racing's about.
I think I'll do a race report actually next week. And I'll say it now. I'm gonna sprint off the line.
Okay.
Do it. Whole shot.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just fall back through the course of the
In
day.
my opinion,
And then
they go
cramp.
they go unnecessarily fast. And then if you don't go unnecessarily fast too, you never see them again.
Yeah.
Do you-
And it'll be-
That's XCO. That's what it's about.
Do you think Rankin will be there in baggies with no visor on his helmet?
Yeah, he'll be sprinting past me off the start.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, we're gonna the game plan's gonna be sprint off the start, cramp, get past, and then just pick up some pace on the downhills and just start block passing people.
Lester
yeah,
Lester's
Game
talked
plan.
about doing like heat acclimation. Are you just doing like cramp acclimation? So you're just used to the cramps by the time you get to Walker?
Yeah, so I talked about this with also a friend of the show, Malcolm Cleland, and also, if there are any
He hasn't bought a t-shirt though.
physios probably who I want to talk to out there who are listening. I am keen to make myself cramp in a non-racing environment just to find out, like just to test the limits.
Like
That story of
see how long
Peter
you can
Snell,
hold
the
it
New Zealand
for.
runner, I think it was. Yeah, like there was a time in athletics where there was this belief that you could die from running too hard. And Peter Snell, I think it might have been Peter Snell, wanted to test that. He wanted to find out, can I kill myself if I push myself too hard? And the story goes, he went to the track and just ran himself into the ground until he passed out. And someone found him on the side of the track, and then he woke up. He's like, "Oh, I'm not dead. All right, cool. There are no limits." So that's. I think we're gonna see if we can run that program this Sunday. Yeah, sports science.
That's interesting. That's very
I'm going
funny.
to listen to. I'm going to listen to the podcast with the podcast you talked about a couple of weeks ago, Lester, with Cavendish's
mental
sports
performance
Mental
guy.
coach.
Yeah,
the scientist.
he's amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to put that on. But what's going to happen at the last minute is it's actually going to switch to the Simon Sinek Just Ask Why podcast or the TED Talk from about 15 years ago. And so I'm just going to be listening to self-help guides while I'm racing, eating chippies.
I love it. I love it. You've got a game plan. I'm here for this. This is great.
Commit to it.
You're more prepared than the rest of us are. You've got a game plan. So
that old saying of like, what do they say?
If you don't,
if you
just
don't
fail to prepare,
planning.
prepare to
if
fail.
you fail to prepare, you
There we
prepare to
go.
fail. But I'm wondering maybe if it's more like if I fail to prepare, I can't fail.
Then you failed already because it sounds like you've been preparing.
He has been.
No, preparation's a state of mind, though, isn't it? Like you're either prepared or you're not.
Well, I think Caleb said it best. Caleb Smith, friend of the show, who hasn't bought a t-shirt either.
I don't think he listens either. So
Said it best on one of Lester's Instagram posts recently, and it was from Lester racing some CX locally, and Caleb had tagged it with the at the OTB podcast, and then quote marks, "I'm not training, you're training." And I was like, that just sums us all up. Like, no one really wants to show their cards. It's like, what are you doing? No, not that much. What have you been doing? Not much. I've been kids, work. Yeah, I've been away. Cut my arm open. I haven't been doing any training.
KB's like, come on, I'm open. I won't be doing anything. And then, like, on the Monday, like 2 days later, I saw your Strava. He's out getting KOMs. Ridiculous. Oh, I just been a quiet one.
Probably just like a later
Monday, he's out doing a little bit of training, and then on Tuesday he's in hospital getting a staph infection dealt with because he's been sweating all through his wound.
Yeah.
Speaking of Caleb Smith, I think the most inspirational thing I've ever heard from Caleb Smith was at about, it must have been about 8:30 at night, middle of winter, in the middle of nowhere in the Wairarapa, and it was just, I'm just going to sleep here, guys. I'll see you later. And
Yeah, just leave me here.
Sure enough, leave me here.
Just
As happy
leave
as
me
a clam,
I don't think he was happy as a clam.
He was happy.
The poor dude was very close to death.
Yeah, a farmer thought he was dead.
Yeah.
How did he get out of that situation?
Someone came and picked him up.
His mate Moose went back and picked him up.
Moose. Yeah.
Oh, man. Shout out to Moose.
He would have been out there for over an hour, though. Because it took us at least an hour to get back to the car. Maybe even more than that.
We saw Moose, as we were riding out, we were in the last stretch to get home, we saw Moose come by.
That's right.
And there were two things. We were like, okay, Moose has still got a fair way to drive. So Caleb's going to be there for a while. But then also, Moose is such a moose because he's so far ahead of us that he was able to get back and then turn around. We still had like a 45-minute ride to go.
Yeah, he gapped us, big time.
All right, boys. Great show,
That'll
as
be
always.
The Breve, Lester. That'll be
We're not doing the Breve.
Oh, mate, we've got a few. We've got to just on the next episode, we'll have some interesting news to drop. I think potentially
Brevet champ.
about the
What
Waka.
team rumours?
But we'll leave you in that. Leave you with that.
All right, we'll leave them suspended. I don't know when we'll be back. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after. World finals of the World Cup's about 2 weeks away. So we'll be back some point soon anyway. But until then, buy yourself a t-shirt. Subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening to on. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Tell a friend. Help us grow the show.
What AM frequency are we on?
I think it's 1069.
And if anyone wants a printed transcript of the episode, just send your
RFB.
self-addressed
RFT. Request for transcript.
Yeah.
Self-addressed envelope.
You'll get two things. You'll get a transcript of the show with some redactments, and you'll get a copy of
Some
KB's pitch
redactments.
deck.
Have we got any
All part of
stickers
the
left?
OIA.
Free stickers.
Yeah, we'll send some
exactly.
stickers as well.
Yeah, you'll get a non-disclosure agreement, which is just please don't tell too many people that you listen to the OGD podcast.
For your
Don't
own.
No
tell
one's doing that
anyone
to themselves.
this exists.
No one knows this, but when you listen to the podcast, we've snuck some terms and conditions into the wherever it is you get the podcast. So you're not actually allowed to tell people about it. Like Fight Club. There's an NDA.
Opposite of social networking.
I thought we were doing well at the end, but we've gone back the same way. So until next
All right.
time, we'll see you next week.
What's up? I come from the land of down on I can't hear you. What was that? I can't hear you. I let it be like John Lennon, the anti-serum that you don't get for poisonous venom. Read the label carefully, I'm only here for the show. I love hip-hop too much to let you feed my ego. In the key of F-U-C-K-Y-O-U. I mean, why do I owe you if you're not helping me through? I mean, why do I owe you if you're obstructing my view? Success is not my castle, just a house that's brand new. You see, I irrigate the culture, give it shape like a sculpture. Still complicated, drop like I'm supposed to. B-L-I-T-Z like my DJ. Rock to the rhythm like you rock to what he plays.